When a man truly begins to understand the power of silence and self-control, everything about the way a woman perceives him begins to shift. Most men, when they lose a woman's attention or feel her pulling away, react in the exact opposite way of what actually works. They beg, they plead, they call, they text, they try to convince her to come back with words. But what they don't realize is that every time they chase in desperation, they communicate weakness, fear of loss, and a lack of confidence in themselves. Attraction is not built by force, and love is not won by pressure. A woman is not drawn to a man who needs her more than he needs himself. She is drawn to a man who can stand solid, grounded, and unshaken even when she pulls away. This is where the power of silence comes in. When you step into no contact, you are not simply ignoring her. You are making a powerful statement without saying a word. You are saying, I value myself enough not to chase. I respect myself enough not to beg. I know who I am, and I don't need constant validation to feel worthy. That silence is louder than any words you could ever speak. It is mysterious, and mystery is magnetic. A woman's mind begins to turn when she notices your absence. She wonders why you haven't called, why you haven't texted, why you seem so calm when most men would panic. That curiosity creates a spark, and that spark is the very thing that pulls her back into your orbit. You see, the human mind craves what it doesn't fully understand. When you are silent, you are no longer predictable. She can't put you in a box. She can't assume she has you wrapped around her finger. Instead, she has to think about you, imagine what you might be doing, and question whether she has lost her hold on you. That questioning is powerful because the moment she starts thinking about you again, she is emotionally engaging with you, even if you haven't said a single word. Self-control is what makes this silence possible. It's not easy to resist the temptation to reach out, especially when emotions are high and your heart feels unsettled. But every time you hold back, you strengthen your position. You prove to yourself that you are capable of mastery over your impulses. And mastery is attractive. A man who is calm under pressure, who does not let his emotions dictate his actions, shows the kind of stability and strength that women are naturally drawn to. He becomes the rock in the storm, the steady presence who does not waver. That kind of man is rare, and rarity is valuable. Think about it. If you've ever lost yourself in chasing, in sending message after message, you probably noticed how quickly her interest faded. That's because chasing flips the dynamic. It puts her in the position of power, and it communicates that she is the prize while you are the pursuer. But when you embrace silence, you reverse that dynamic. You remind her without words that you are the prize. You are the one who doesn't need to prove anything, because your very presence speaks for itself. The psychology behind no contact is simple yet profound. Absence creates longing. When something or someone is always available, the value feels diminished. But when access is removed, appreciation begins to grow. Imagine your favorite song being played on repeat until it no longer excites you. Then imagine not hearing it for months, and suddenly it comes on the radio. It feels fresh again, powerful, even nostalgic. That's what your silence does. It allows her to miss you, to crave you, to re-experience the emotions that were once dulled by overexposure. But silence alone isn't enough if it doesn't come from a place of genuine self-worth. You can't fake confidence by simply ignoring her while secretly obsessing over her every move. The power of no contact comes when your silence is rooted in truth, the truth that you know your value, the truth that you don't need anyone to complete you, the truth that your life has meaning and purpose with or without her. When this mindset aligns with your actions, she will feel it. She may not consciously understand it, but she will sense it in her gut. Women are incredibly intuitive, and they can tell the difference between a man who is silent because he is playing a game, and a man who is silent because he is strong. This is why silence is not weakness. It is strength. It is restraint. It is discipline. It is the ability to hold your ground and trust that attraction works best when it has space to breathe. If you want her to chase you, you cannot be in her ear reminding her of your presence every second of the day. She needs to feel the loss of you. She needs to wonder if she has slipped from your world, that wondering creates urgency, and urgency creates pursuit. When you stay silent, you give her the room to reflect on what she had with you. The arguments, the frustrations, the moments that seemed overwhelming, they begin to fade in her memory. Instead, the laughter, the connection, the intimacy, the little moments she can't replace, those rise back to the surface. Silence gives her the space to miss those things, and when she misses them, she begins to miss you. And missing you is the first step to chasing you, so understand this: the first move is not yours to make. It is hers. Your job is not to prove yourself, not to win her back with grand gestures or constant reminders. Your job is to hold your ground, stay silent, and trust the process, because the man who controls himself controls the dynamic. And the man who controls the dynamic never has to chase, he simply attracts. And when she finally reaches out, when she breaks the silence because she cannot stand wondering anymore, you will know that your self-control has paid off. She will come back not because you forced her, but because your silence drew her in. That is the true power of no contact, and that is the power of a man who understands that silence speaks louder than words. When the silence of no contact begins, many men make the mistake of just waiting, sitting idle, counting the days until she calls or texts. But that is not the point of no contact, and it's certainly not the path that makes a woman chase you again. The truth is, the period of no contact is not about her. It's about you. It's about transformation, about becoming a stronger, better, more attractive version of yourself, so that when she does think of you, she sees a man who has grown, not a man who has been stuck in the same place. If silence plants the seed of curiosity, self-improvement is what makes that curiosity bloom into renewed desire. Think about it this way: when you remove yourself from her life, you are giving her the space to reflect. But at the same time, you are also creating a powerful opportunity for yourself. You now have the chance to look at your own life with honesty and ask, who am I? Where am I going? What kind of man do I want to become? These questions are not just about impressing her. They are about building a foundation of strength and purpose that no one can take away from you. Because the moment you begin to focus on becoming your best self, you stop being a man who needs to chase and start being a man who naturally attracts. A woman is drawn to growth. She is drawn to progress, to a man who never stays stagnant. When she notices that you've been working on your body, improving your career, chasing your passions, building your confidence, she cannot help but look at you differently. While most men waste no contact by sulking or obsessing, you can use it to elevate yourself in a way that makes her second guess ever letting you go. Imagine her scrolling through her feed and seeing a stronger, more confident version of you, living your life with purpose and energy. That image sticks in her mind, and it challenges her to see you not as the man she left, but as the man she now wants to come back to. Self-improvement comes in many forms, but at the core, it's about discipline and focus. Maybe you start by hitting the gym, transforming your body into one that radiates health and strength. Not because you're trying to show her what she's missing, but because you deserve to feel powerful in your own skin. Maybe you invest in your career or start that side project you've been putting off, showing yourself that you are capable of building something valuable. Maybe you dive into books, podcasts, or mentors that help you sharpen your mind, because a sharp mind is just as magnetic as a strong body. Each step you take forward adds another layer to your value, another reason for her to be drawn back to you. But here's the secret. It's not about faking it. Women can sense when a man is putting on a performance just to win them back. Authenticity is everything. You cannot pretend to be growing. You have to truly commit to it. If you go to the gym just for show, or post pictures of a life you're not really living, it will eventually come through as hollow. But if you genuinely embrace the process of bettering yourself, the energy you give off will be undeniable. You won't have to brag. You won't have to force anything. Your presence alone will communicate that you are evolving. And when a man evolves, everything about him changes. His posture shifts. His voice carries more confidence. His eyes show more certainty, and his aura feels stronger. These subtle changes do not go unnoticed. When she sees you again, or even when she hears about you through others, she will sense that something is different. That difference is what makes her chase, because deep down, every woman wants to feel that she has a man who is not only strong enough to stand on his own, but also ambitious enough to keep moving forward. It's also important to understand that self-improvement is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the fullest version of yourself. The man she was first attracted to was not desperate, needy, or insecure. He was likely confident, playful, and focused. Somewhere along the way, that version of you may have been buried under stress, routine, or the fear of losing her. Now is your chance to bring that man back, but stronger than ever before. When she sees that you've not only returned to your best self, but also upgraded beyond who you were, she will feel a surge of attraction that words cannot create. At the same time, this process is not just about her. It's about reclaiming your own sense of worth. When you begin to see your body transform, when you feel your mind sharpen, when you build momentum in your goals, you don't just wait for her validation anymore. You validate yourself. You no longer see her as the center of your universe. You see yourself as the source of your own fulfillment. And ironically, that shift in energy is what makes her want to be part of your universe again. The power of rebuilding yourself during no contact is that it puts you back in control of your life. It reminds you that your happiness is not tied to one person, and that you are capable of creating a life that excites you. When you carry that excitement, it radiates. People notice not just her. Friends, colleagues, strangers, they all pick up on the energy of a man who is driven and alive. That social proof amplifies your attractiveness, because when others are drawn to you, she cannot help but wonder what it is about you that commands attention. And this is how the chase begins. Not through games, not through manipulation, but through genuine growth. She sees that you are not stuck in the past, that you are not desperate for her to return. Instead, she sees a man who has elevated himself, and she starts to feel that if she doesn't move fast, she may lose you to someone else who recognizes your value. That fear of loss, combined with the renewed desire, fuels her to chase you in ways she may have never done before. So when you find yourself in the silence of no contact, don't waste it waiting for her call. Use it as fuel for transformation. Build your body, sharpen your mind, strengthen your spirit, and elevate your life. Become the man who doesn't just attract her back, but attracts opportunities, respect, and admiration from everyone around you. Because when you do that, you won't just make her curious. You'll make her realize that she has to chase you if she wants to be part of the powerful journey you're creating. That is the essence of no contact. It's not about waiting, it's about becoming. And when you become that man, she won't just notice. She will chase. When you have embraced the silence of no contact and you have committed yourself to growth, something powerful begins to happen. You start radiating a new kind of energy. And it's in this phase that the subtle signals you send out to the world without directly reaching out to her begin to work in your favor. A woman's curiosity is one of the most powerful forces you can ever awaken, And when she senses that there is more to your life than she currently knows, she can't help but think about you. The truth is, attraction is rarely about what is obvious. It is about what is unseen, what is hinted at, what is suggested without ever being forced. And this is exactly why subtlety becomes your strongest weapon when you want her to chase you. When a man floods a woman's phone with calls or messages, there is no mystery. Everything is laid bare, and worse, it communicates that his entire world still revolves around her. But when you remain silent while simultaneously moving in ways that suggest growth, change, and excitement, you plant a seed in her mind that she cannot ignore. She begins to wonder, what is he doing? Who is he with? Why hasn't he reached out to me? Why does he seem so calm, so different, so alive? These questions are the very sparks that reignite her desire, because when she is left to wonder, she starts to imagine, and her imagination often pulls her back to you more powerfully than anything you could say. The beauty of subtle signals is that they don't require direct communication. They are indirect, almost invisible, yet incredibly effective. Think of it like this. When you're upgrading yourself, you don't need to announce it. You let the results speak. When you're hitting the gym, the changes in your body show without you saying a word. When you're focused on your passions and living with purpose, the glow in your presence is undeniable. When you're enjoying time with friends, exploring new places, or living with excitement, people notice, and eventually she notices too. It's not about showing off. It's about living authentically in a way that naturally creates curiosity. Women are intuitive, and they have a way of sensing shifts in energy even without direct proof. She may not see every detail of what you're doing, but she can feel that something is different. Maybe she sees a picture of you smiling with friends. Maybe she hears from mutual connections that you've been thriving, or maybe she just feels the calmness in your absence. Each of these subtle signals communicates one thing loud and clear. You are not sitting around waiting for her. And that realization alone is often enough to stir a woman's emotions in ways she cannot ignore. There's also the power of unpredictability. When you used to be available at all times, when you would reply instantly to her texts, when you would drop everything just to see her, she knew exactly where you stood. That certainty made you easy to read, and what is easy to read rarely excites. But when you are no longer predictable, when she no longer knows what you're doing or how you feel, you create a tension inside her. That tension is not comfortable for her, but it is exactly what reignites attraction, because deep down, women chase what they cannot fully figure out, and they value what they feel they might lose. You see, subtle signals are not about manipulation. They are about letting your authentic growth shine in a way that naturally pulls her curiosity towards you. If you're traveling, you don't need to announce it to her directly, but a simple picture on social media of you living freely can trigger the thought, he's moving on without me. If you've improved your appearance, maybe she sees you unexpectedly one day, and in that moment, she realizes she no longer has the same grasp on you. These little hints, these glimpses into your new reality, are what make her mind race at night when she wonders what role she still plays in your life. And here's what makes it even more powerful. The less you reveal, the more she imagines. When she doesn't know who you're with, she wonders if it's someone new. When she doesn't know why you seem so calm, she wonders if you've outgrown her. When she doesn't know why you haven't reached out, she wonders if you've already moved on. And in that wondering, she begins to feel emotions that push her back toward you. Jealousy, regret, longing, even a renewed sense of desire. Suddenly, the tables turn. Instead of you being the one waiting for her attention, she becomes the one seeking your presence, looking for answers, trying to get closer to you again. But remember, subtle signals only work when they are genuine. If you try too hard to make her jealous, if you post things that scream desperation for her attention, she will see through it. Authenticity is the key. The best subtle signals are the ones that happen naturally when you are truly focused on living your best life.
The more real they are, the more powerful they become.
Because women don't chase men who are trying to play games. They chase men who are genuinely rising above, men who are in motion, men who have something exciting about them that cannot be ignored. This phase is about giving her just enough to wonder, but never enough to fully know. It's about living in such a way that she is drawn back to you, not because you demanded it, but because her own curiosity pulls her in. And when curiosity pulls her in, it comes with emotion. She doesn't just want to know what you're doing, she wants to be part of it again. She doesn't just want to see the life you're living, she wants a place in that life. That's the moment when the chase begins, when she shifts from pulling away to leaning back in. So never underestimate the power of subtlety. It is not the loud gestures that make her return, it is the quiet ones. It is not the begging words that make her chase. It is the silent improvements, the natural glow of your growth, the unpredictable energy of a man who no longer needs her validation to stand tall. Those are the signals that make her curious, and curiosity is the spark that sets her pursuit in motion. Because when she cannot stop wondering about you, she cannot stop thinking about you. And when she cannot stop thinking about you, she cannot resist chasing you. When the silence has done its work, when your growth has become undeniable, and when her curiosity has begun to stir, the final step is the one that separates the men who keep her chasing from the men who lose her again. That step is patience and control. It is the ability to understand that the chase cannot be forced, and that once she begins to reach out, the way you respond will determine whether the dynamic shifts in your favor or slips back into old patterns. Many men, after doing the hard work of no contact and self-improvement, ruin everything the moment she shows the slightest bit of attention. They rush back in, smother her, or start acting needy all over again. But the truth is, if you want her to truly chase you, you must learn the art of letting her come to you while you remain steady, calm, and in control. The beauty of this stage is that you no longer have to push. You don't need to chase, you don't need to beg, and you don't need to prove your worth. You've already shown it through your silence, your growth, and your energy. Now, when she sends that first text or makes that first call, you don't jump out of desperation. You respond with composure. You keep it short, you keep it light, and you never rush to pour out all the emotions you've been holding in. This restraint communicates that while you are open to her presence, you are not dependent on it, and that is what keeps her chasing. Because the truth is, attraction dies when there is no challenge. If she knows she can have you at the snap of her fingers, she loses the drive to pursue you. But if she feels that your attention is something she has to earn again, she will put in the effort. The more effort she invests, the more she values the connection, and this is where patience becomes your greatest weapon. You must resist the urge to give too much too soon. You must let her show consistency, let her prove that she is genuinely chasing, not just reaching out for comfort or curiosity. Control in this stage also means knowing when to engage and when to step back. Not every message needs an instant reply. Not every invitation needs an immediate acceptance. By pacing yourself, by moving with calmness, you allow her desire to build. You create the space for her to lean in further, to feel that she is the one pursuing you rather than the other way around. This dynamic is crucial because it restores balance. It reminds her of the man she was first drawn to, the man who didn't need her to feel complete, but who chose to share his world with her because he was already whole. And when you stand in that energy, everything shifts. She begins to feel grateful for your attention again. She begins to feel that being in your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee, and the more she feels that, the harder she works to keep you close. This is not about playing games. It's about maintaining the value you've built, about protecting the new version of yourself that emerged during no contact. It's about never slipping back into the old patterns of neediness that pushed her away in the first place. So when she comes back, let her call, let her text. Let her show you that she is willing to invest. But don't collapse into her arms at the first sign of attention. Hold steady, stay patient, keep control of yourself and of the pace. Because the man who allows her to chase is the man she never wants to stop chasing, and in the end that is the real secret. Not making her come back, but creating the space where she chooses to. And once she chooses, she values it far more than if it had ever been forced.